You finish your pitch, and the customer says, it's quite expensive. Your product is too expensive. You arrive home. You're a few minutes late. Your partner says, you're always late. There's a dirty plate left on the table. You never wash the dishes. What do you say in this moment? Now, most of you, and me included, went through 14 years of school where we were taught one way to respond to questions. Teacher asks questions. How do you spell cat? Student, C-A-T. Teacher, what is the biological process called osmosis? Student puts hand up, explains in detail the process through which cell membranes allow water to go from one side to the other. So for 14 years, you've been taught that you should give an answer to a question. If you went to university, you probably had another 3-4 years where you gave answers to questions. But in real life, in persuasion, in getting to what the other person is really about, what their needs really are, the worst thing you can do is give an answer to a question. If someone says your product is too expensive, and you say, no, it's not, it's only 1,000, you've lost every chance to understand what else is behind their reasoning. If you get home and your partner says, you're always late, and you go, no, Tuesday I definitely was here on time, you're going to have a crap weekend. And you've had 14, if not 18 years of training that you answer questions. And it's going to cause fights in your home life. It's going to cause problems at work. It means you're not selling anything. Because when someone says your product is too expensive, that's not what their real issue is. When someone says, I'll have to speak to my boss, that's not what their real issue is. And if we had lots of time here, I would create a little role-playing thing, because what happens here is, in our model of the human brain, we've got the stem, the emotion, and here. When your partner says, you're always late, emotion goes up, and what happens is this bit disconnects. So the way to make someone stupider is insult them, object to them, tell them they're wrong, or ask them a question. Because there's an emotional reaction, and the higher emotion goes, the lower thinking goes. So if you don't practice this response, you're not going to be able to do it in the moment. If you don't practice repeatedly how you'll respond to you're always late, you never wash the dishes, you never do your part of the share, your product is too expensive, your competitor is better, you failed us 3 years ago, I don't trust your company. If you don't practice the habit of not giving an answer, you're not going to be able to do it in the heat of the moment. So what I would say is, when you're asked a question or when you're given an objection, what I want you to do is say, I understand, and repeat in your words what they're saying. Your product is too expensive. I understand that money is an important factor for you. What other criteria will be used in taking this decision? So you understand and you give an open question back. And I call this conversation Aikido. So martial arts. Martial arts are about using the energy, the force of the opponent against them. In judo, if someone punches, you pull their arm and you allow the energy to keep flowing. In karate, it's another thing. In Aikido, the concept is you go towards the punch, go towards the energy. So if someone punches you, if someone asks you a question, if someone objects, says you're wrong, the Aikido method is go towards and see the world from their view. So in Aikido, you learn to go towards the punch, dodge it, and look, and you're seeing the world in the same direction as the person who's attacking you. I understand. And it takes some habit to start to be able to give I understand and fill in good words. So practicing, you're always late. I understand you feel frustrated. I understand you feel let down. I understand. You'll have to work on this quite a few times over the next 10 years to find the set of words that captures what the other person feels, what's behind it. You know, what can we do now? What happened during the day? What would you like to talk about? What can we do this weekend? So what's the way that instead of when you get punched, walking straight into the punch and having a very bad weekend, when a client says you're too expensive and you go, no, we're not, and you learn nothing about who else they're considering, what other criteria are important, what process they've gone through, who else is involved in the decision. So I hope that, and this takes 14 years of it being drummed into, 4 more, 18 if you went to university, it's going to take you at least 18 years to get out of the habit of responding to questions with answers. Because we live in an uncertain world and we don't have the answers. But by giving the answer, we shut down the possibility of hearing what's really going on in the other person's mind, in the other person's business, what other things are going on. So if someone says your product is too expensive, I understand that money is an important criteria for you. What other things are important in this decision? You say, I'll have to talk to your boss on this. Hey, this is an important decision. I understand you want to get everyone involved. When can I come and meet with you and your boss together? In fact, that's a bit of a closed question. But the habit here is being good at I understand and accepting the energy that's coming from the other person, and then giving back an open question. And I guarantee that if you do it 4 times, the answer to your 4th open question begins to be what's the real underlying need, issue, interest of the person that you're listening to.